Today's topic is perception of pain sensation. Now, perception of pain sensation is the phenomena by which noxious stimuli reach consciousness, and it involves two components: nociceptive component and affective. It includes cognition and attention component. Now, what is nociceptive component of pain perception? It involves a neural pathway of pain. We have already discussed neural pathway. Name is lateral spinothalamic tract, and for fast pain there is a neospinothalamic tract, and for slow pain there is a paleo-spinothalamic tract. Another is role of somatic sensory cortex. In this area there is a quality and localization of pain is decided, and pain perception at the subcortical level. So perception of pain, it occurs basically at the level of thalamus, okay, at the subcortical level. So this is nociceptive component of pain perception. Now another is affective, cognitive and attention component. It involves activity of spinothalamic tract, limbic system pathway. So this limbic system, it is associated with the behavior and feelings, okay, behavior and feelings, emotion. Now what is cognitive perception? Now these are the abilities that recognize, discriminate, memorize or judge operant information. It involves patient's ability to relate painful experience to another event. For example, pain is experienced in pleasant environment elicit a less intense response than experience in setting of depression. Another terminology is attention. It plays important role in perception of pain on the basis that only fixed number of afferent stimuli can reach cortical centers. Therefore, if patient in pain concentrate on a separate or unrelated images, for example, getting deeply involved in music or interesting movie or on television, so it is possible that he will receive lesser intensity of pain than otherwise. The biofeedback and hypnosis for their positive impact on pain operate on this principle. Okay, so this is attention phenomena. Now pain suppression system in the central nervous system. Pain suppression system in CNS, basically they are divided into two major components: spinal pain suppression system and supraspinal pain suppression system. And there is also role of acetylcholine. We will discuss one by one. First, spinal pain suppression system. So it is explained by gate control hypothesis. So this hypothesis is given by Medzek and Wall in 1965. According to this hypothesis, dorsal gray horn act as a gate for transmission of pain sensation, and this gate can be closed by segmental suppression and supraspinal suppression. As we know that dorsal horn and dorsal horn of spinal cord, which mainly responsible for receiving sensory information like touch, pressure, pain, temperature, etc. Okay, so it acts as a gate for transmission of pain sensation. And now if we close this gate, okay, so it means there is a suppression of pain. Okay, so this gate can be closed by segmental suppression and supraspinal suppression. So now what is segmental suppression? So in this figure you can see collateral from A beta fibers which carries touch and pressure sensation, okay, cause presynaptic inhibition of afferent A delta and C fiber which carries pain sensation. Okay, so here there is a presynaptic inhibition of A delta and C fiber, which is responsible for carrying pain. Okay, so how it is inhibited? By presynaptic inhibition by A beta, which carries touch and pressure. So certain example for this type of segmental suppression are there, like rubbing or massage or pressure in vicinity of painful area. Another example is local application of warmth or cold relieves pain. Local application of counter irritant, which cause stimulation of skin, also relieve pain. Acupuncture therapy and transcutaneous electric nerve stimulation, TENS, in which pain site or the nerve leading from it are stimulated by electrode placed on surface of the skin. Okay, so these are the various example in which there is a segmental separation of pain occurs. Now another mechanism for gate control hypothesis, means to close the gate, is supraspinal pain suppression system. So there are three different supraspinal descending pain modulation pathways are there. So first is descending serotonergic opioid inhibitory system, another is descending purinergic inhibitory system, and third one is descending adrenergic inhibitory system. So we will discuss one by one. First is descending serotonergic opioid inhibitory system. So now what are the component of this system? So first component is Raphe Magnus nucleus. Second is PAG, periaqueductal gray area in the midbrain, and third is hypothalamus and frontal cortex. Now we will discuss one by one. First is Raphe Magnus nucleus. So it is basically a midline nucleus, and its neuron receive innervation from PAG, reticular formation, hypothalamus and frontal cortex. So this is Raphe Magnus nucleus. You can see there are number of nuclei present in the medulla. Okay, it is known as a Raphe Magnus nuclei, RMN. So it receives innervation from PAG, midbrain, reticular formation and frontal cortex and hypothalamus as well. Okay, now serotonergic neuron of Raphe Magnus nucleus project downward to the dorsolateral column, and it influences neuron in dorsal horn of spinal cord, which are excited by nociceptive afferent. Okay, so drug like amitriptyline, which increases the serotonin, and it causes postsynaptic inhibition. So here exact mechanism is postsynaptic inhibition. So the drug like amitriptyline, which is responsible for increasing level of serotonin, and it alleviates pain by increasing level, and function of substance P in this neuron and their relationship with serotonin is uncertain. Inhibition of pain fiber in spinal cord inhibits withdrawal reflex evoked by application of noxious stimuli. Other sensory modalities like touch and temperature are not affected. So Raphe Magnus nucleus. So this is serotonergic neuron of RMN project downward in dorsolateral column and influence the neuron in dorsal horn of spinal cord, and basically here serotonergic fiber are exert its effect by doing postsynaptic inhibition and cause suppression of pain. Now another component of this system is PAG, periaqueductal gray area in the midbrain. So it inhibits pain sensation by stimulating Raphe Magnus nucleus. So neuron of PAG have an opioid receptor on their surface membrane. There are four types of opioid receptor: mu, kappa, delta and epsilon. When these receptors are stimulated by exogenously administered opioid compounds like analgesic, or by endogenous opioid neurotransmitter like endorphin and enkephalin, which is found in the brain, pain suppression circuitry is activated, and this lead to reduced pain perception. Okay, so what is the role of PAG? It inhibits pain by stimulating Raphe Magnus nucleus, but here there is a role of opioid receptor which is present on their surface membrane. So now opioid receptor present on the membrane surface of terminal of primary afferent pain carrying fibers which terminate in substantia gelatinosa of dorsal horn, and this neuron secrete substance P as a neurotransmitter. So opioid peptides like endorphin and enkephalin are released on stimulation of descending pain inhibitory pathway bind with these opioid receptors. Here in the spinal cord also there is a opioid receptors. Okay, so here you can see enkephalin secreting neuron. This is opioid receptor in dorsal horn also. Okay, so when this descending pain inhibitory pathway bind with opioid receptor and decrease the release of substance P from primary afferent neuron terminating in dorsal horn, and that's why there is an inhibition of pain by pre-synotic inhibition. So here pain is suppressed by pre-synotic inhibition. How? So it decreases release of substance P from this receptor, opioid receptor. Okay, and that's why there is a decrease in pain sensation. So it is pre-synotic inhibition. Now physiological importance. A morphine like drug, it relieves pain by two mechanisms. At spinal level by binding to opioid receptor and thereby decreasing release of substance P, and at supraspinal level binding to opioid receptor which is present in periaqueductal gray area of midbrain and thus activating descending inhibitory pathway through raphe-Magnus nucleus and produces inhibition of primary afferent transmission in dorsal horn, and that's why morphine is a potent analgesic because of these two mechanisms. And role of hypothalamus and frontal cortex. Neuron descending from hypothalamus and frontal cortex stimulate both PAG as well as RMN. Okay, so due to stimulation of these two, PAG and RMN, again this descending serotonergic opioid inhibitory system is activated and there is an inhibition of pain. Now a descending pain inhibitory system is stimulated in following condition. When limbic system is stimulated, as we already discussed that limbic system is basically related with the emotion and behavior. So some fiber from limbic system supply periaqueductal gray area PAG, and that's why soldier wounded in battlefield may feel no pain during heat of battle, because in this condition limbic system of soldier is strongly stimulated and it stimulates periaqueductal gray area, okay, of midbrain. And as we know that when PAG is stimulated, it stimulates RMN, and again there is a stimulation of descending serotonergic opioid inhibitory pain suppression system. And autofeedback. Now what is autofeedback? When spinothalamic tract is stimulated, the collaterals from this tract stimulate descending inhibitory pathway. So when pain pathway carries pain towards the brain, okay, towards the somatosensory cortex and thalamus, collaterals from this pathway, pain pathway, also stimulate this descending inhibitory system, and there is a suppression of pain. So it is, that's why it is called autofeedback. Now another mechanism for pain suppression other than descending serotonergic inhibitory system, this is descending purinergic inhibitory system. It is comprised of adenosine. It exhibits both pre and post cyanotic action and produces anti-nociception by indirect interaction with excitatory amino acid release. So role of adenosine is explained by following observation. Significant decrease in circulating blood and cerebrospinal fluid CSF, adenosine level in patient with neuropathic pain. So it is basically chronic pain, okay, in which there is a decreased level of this amino acid. So there may be some role of this system, purinergic inhibitory system. And another is effective attenuation of neuropathic pain following low dose of infusion of adenosine. So there is a few observation that indicate that this system is responsible for suppression of pain. Descending noradrenergic inhibitory system, it is another system for pain suppression. In this system, fiber of this system originate from the locus coeruleus and medullary reticular formation and then descend in dorsal lateral fasciculus. Now environmental factor like stress may activate this system, and norepinephrine depleting agent including reserpine and alpha 2 antagonist and lesion within noradrenergic system all interfere with the morphine analgesia. So there may be some role of this adrenergic output to suppress the pain. Role of acetylcholine, epibetidine, it is a cholinergic agonist. It is a strong non-opioid analgesic agent. Thank you.